Hey Ventures, so today is going to be I'm titling it this, but it's not really exactly true, and I'll get to why in a second, but this is going to be my worst 10 sci-fi and fantasy book covers that I own. So these are just the book covers that I own that for whatever reason I don't like, they don't work for me, whatever it might be. Whether I've read the book or not, whether they affect my enjoyment of the book or not, doesn't matter. It's just personal aesthetic of looking at the cover and saying, do I like this or do I not like this? So I got this video idea from Shelf-Centered. He actually got the idea from Treebeard's book reviews, but Treebeard did a top 10 sci-fi fantasy book covers, a top 10 sci-fi fantasy book covers that he owned. And then Bryce from Shelf-Centered did a worst 10 or worst 9, I think actually, and then a top 10. And so I'm going to do that same thing. This first one is going to be the worst 10. My opinions differ a little bit from theirs on what types of things I like, and I'll get into that more when I get to the top 10 list. But for this worst 10 list, I don't really have these in any specific order. As I go through them, I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that I like about them, or some of the things that I don't like about them, or whatever it is. But it's just judging a book by its cover. It has nothing to do, it's really not any deep video or any type of thing that's really worth a lot of time to invest into it. And so this introduction has become way too long and way too rambly already, so we'll get right into it. The top book I have on this stack is Foundation by Isaac Asimov. This is book one in the Foundation novels. For some reason, this cover does not work for me. That's not entirely true, because I do like the image of the guy sitting in whatever the tank is, or the beam of light, or whatever it might be. I don't mind that. I don't actually mind the orange, the bright orange with the little bit darker, more burnt orange color mixed in. I don't mind any of that. It's just for some reason the combination of all the things doesn't work. I think maybe if the image of the guy was bigger on the cover, then it would probably work a little bit better. But so that's the first one that I have on this list. The next one on the pile is Lord of Chaos, Book 6 of The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Again, this one is very boring to me. I like some of the Wheel of Time covers, and I don't like some of the other ones. A lot of people really don't like the Wheel of Time covers, and I understand why, and this one specifically does not work for me at all. I haven't gotten to this book yet. I'm only on book 4 and haven't even started book 4 yet. But something about just the guy standing there, I assume that's supposed to be Rand, is just boring. It's just a guy standing there, isn't even in some action pose or anything like that. It's just a guy standing there. The bat drop car thingy, something like that, is really cool, but you don't really see enough of it for it to matter. The next one I've got is The Gunslinger by Stephen King. This is book 1 of the Dark Tower series. I don't know why they put this cover on this book, because that cover tells me absolutely nothing about this book. It's a bunch of jagged lines. I assume it's supposed to be a dark tower, but I can't. From what I understand, you don't even reach the Dark Tower until the last book in the series, which is titled The Dark Tower, something like that. I don't know. I haven't read the series yet, but this cover doesn't work for me. It's ugly. It doesn't work. The next book on this stack is my edition of Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is the Puffin Classics edition. I actually don't mind the drawing on it. I love art drawings, stuff like that. I don't mind the drawing. It just, for some reason, it doesn't work for me. That's kind of the repetitive phrase that is being used in this whole video, but that's kind of what this video is book covers that I don't like for whatever reason, whether I can explain it or not. And I do like the drawing and I like the art style, but for some reason I don't like the whole composition of everything. I usually like the Penguin and the Puffin Classics editions. They usually look really good. This one isn't my taste, I guess. Next one I have is Dinosaurs Before Dark by Mary Pope Osborne. This is the first book in the Magic Treehouse series, and I actually, after I pulled it out, I was like, I don't actually hate this one as much. What I remembered about it, and what I remember disliking about this cover, was the look of the two kids. They look bad, and I don't disagree with that still, although it's not horrible. But the dinosaur looks really good. Pterodactyl just flying over. That's wonderful. but I wrote it down on the list, and then after I pulled it out and took another look at it, I was like, you know what, I don't mind it that much, but anyways, it's still on that list. Then we've got, I'm gonna swap places with these two, but that's only because this one is The Day of Reckoning, which is book 8 of the Jedi Apprentice series by Jude Watson. This is about Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi while Obi-Wan's an apprentice. So these are stories set at that time, and just the rendering of this image, it's so obviously fake. It looks so bad. I used to actually really like this cover, and then I pulled it back out again today and was like, yeah, I don't like it at all. And it has to do with the cage that they're in. It just looks so fake, and it doesn't work for me. Then the other one that I have that I had to switch places with was The Moment of Truth, which is book 7 of the Jedi Quest series by Jude Watson. And the reason why I had to swap places with these is because it actually comes after. It's about Obi-Wan and Anakin rather than Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. So it takes place after in the timeline, so I gotta switch places with them. This one, I don't know what it's trying to say, what it's trying to do, but it just looks so bad. The weird teeth thingies, they don't look good. They don't work. The image of the two Jedi does not match with whatever else is going on around it that I don't even know what it is. It's been a long time since I read this book. If I've ever even read this book. I don't know. I know I've read all the Jedi Apprentice books. I don't know if I've ever finished all the Jedi Quest books. Okay, and now on to the next book. This is I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. I don't love this cover. I haven't read the book yet. Everybody says the book's really good. I think that I'll probably enjoy the book once I get to it, but I haven't read it yet. Part of the issue with this cover is this big nasty sticker, fake sticker, that's smack dab different color scheme completely than the rest of the book. It's ugly. I also don't like the blurriness of the cover and how vampires just kind of blur together and doesn't look good. It doesn't work for me. Then we've got Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. I actually don't hate this cover as in I like what it's trying to do, and it just fails in the execution of it, in my opinion. From what I understand, this is a story. I haven't read this one either. I haven't read just several of these that I haven't read, most of them in fact. But from what I understand of the story is it's kind of London and then underground London that's kind of magical. A little bit of a portal fantasy. You go into different part of London and it's completely different or something like that. I assume it's London. I feel like that's what I remember. Either way though, it just, the blurriness of the upper image and then the clearness of the bottom image, but also the different color scheme between the two that doesn't match, but it just, nothing about it quite screams at me that, oh, I have to read this book based on the cover. It's just, that's a cover. And then the last one is kind of probably going to be the most controversial pick on this list, and that is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, which is, of course, book 2 of the Harry Potter series. I quite like the art of the entire Harry Potter series. It's not that I dislike the art of this, it's that the phoenix looks horrible. It doesn't look like a real bird. I know the scene that it's portraying, and that scene doesn't make sense as it is. I don't like that scene. Fine, whatever. It is what it is, but I also just, the image, this is the only one of the Harry Potter books that of this art style that I don't love. And it's just me, I'm sure. But that's my list of worst 10 sci-fi and fantasy books that I own. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday. We have our social medias linked in the description down below. Thanks for watching. Stay warm.